Oh boy. Okay, so we are live. Let me get this started. Wait till I see at least one person join. Looking for it over here on my device. I do not see it, but it's coming. Do. Think about it. I didn't see it last night either. The last one. Till later. Anyway, all right. Let's go. Hey, good evening, folks. I am Jerry A. Thompson. Welcome to the Pivot Play podcast. Happy to have you on with us tonight. I see we already have a couple people joining. As you come in, please like, please share. We're ready to get this party started. Continue with this second part of our conversation on artificial intelligence. Tonight, I think we're going to focus a little bit more on education and industry, but who knows? We're going to let the conversation go where it's going to go. But I think it's going to be beneficial regardless. Again, just a couple housekeeping items, primarily because some people asked about it. Um, if you're looking to get your Live Free gear, head on over to www.livefreeinspirations.com and you will get taken care of. I just got to get my camera angles right. So I'm rocking a different Live Free cup tonight. But as I said to you, these cups are extremely versatile. They will hold coffee, they will hold tea, but they will hold other important beverages as well. So whatever you think you need to get you through the next part of your day, go for it. I think I shared a little bit about the books that I'm working on. So I'm only going to talk about this one for a brief second. The Ultimate Weekend Warrior Score and Blueprint. I'm only saying that because I just got back, just got the book back from the editor. Yeah, if you've never had a book edited, prepare your heart and minds for a lot of red. That's kind of how that process tends to go down. Yeah, I've got that back, but super happy. So we get to move that through. And I think the focus group for principles of the live free lifestyle, I think that focus group is next week. I'm trying to really stay out of it as much as I can, and then I can get back to writing. So, a bunch of exciting stuff that's going on. We won't talk about golf for life tonight. Anyway, so I want to get things going. So, again, drop your comments because we can see them. Drop your comments. What we don't see is who you are, but we do see your comments. So, please. And again, as you're coming on, please like, please share. All right, so I don't want to hold this up too long, and hopefully I can get this right. I want to bring in our guest for tonight, who is Renita Rhodes. And Renita, we did this so fast, I don't have a bio or anything, so I could just spew out a bunch of personal stuff I know about you, but I'll let you do some of that. But without further ado, because I really want to get into this conversation, I've been wanting to do this for weeks. But we have her here now. We have Rashid Coleman the other night with an aspect of that. But that being said, hey, Renita.
Hello, how are you? You know what? I can't look. I'm trying to find you. I was over here like typing up some stuff in Chat GPT real quick, and now I can't find the screen. I have too many windows open. This
Go
is
on, close the
crazy.
window or two. I see you right here in front of me. I'm,
I know.
I'm totally, I'm like right here. I'm laser focused. Um, so anyway, so when we get into how long people have known each other, I don't know, 5 years, something like that. Um,
um, Met in 2018. Is that 5 years
I,
already? Yes,
I
it
can't,
is. That is crazy.
I cannot argue anything that you're saying. I cannot dispute it. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so it may have been that long. So we used to work for the same company. That's when we
Yep.
met, and then I left, and then you left, and you've continued to do some seriously amazing stuffs. So just to help the
Thank you.
conversation, so let's talk a little bit about your background, so people know a little bit about you.
Okay, well, you want me to start from college or just the type of work that I do? Well, I went to Tennessee State University, and I used to be an IT developer. I used to work on PeopleSoft HR and financial systems. Then I pivoted over to IT audit, and from there, I was doing that for about 9 years. And then I finally moved over to cybersecurity, but it was still, to me, it was kind of like IT audit, but it was kind of doing vendor risk management and on a cybersecurity risk management team. Um, in doing that, I also kind of worked with the threat and vulnerability management team, writing policies and procedures. And
Hmm.
now I moved to I, I'm cybersecurity audit, so I'm seeing more cyber and more than just a little. I'm not gonna say little, but more than just risk management. So
Hmm.
last year I was able to look at our offensive security team and audit them. So
Okay,
that was fun.
I'm
So
sure.
it's more than pen testing.
Right. So
Yeah.
just know that you already thrown out half a dozen words that most people have no idea what any of that stuff means. Just know that it's super important. It's very technical, and you have to be very smart to demonstrate competence in what she's doing in the area of security. But at the same time, you're also teaching. So
Mm-hmm.
talk to us about what you're teaching.
So I teach at two different schools, two different universities. I teach at Maryville University, and
Hmm.
they just became a NSA certified school. And I teach the SIM, so security, incident, and event management. So if people are trying to get into the network, they tend to have what is called a SIM. So really, what really is Splunk, and so I'm teaching the students how to use Splunk. And this semester actually had them do a little bit more stuff where they're were able to set up alerts. Um, Trying to think of some of the other things. Of course, make dashboards because Splunk
Right.
isn't just for security.
Right.
And the other school I teach intro to intro to cybersecurity and system analysis and design, and then Python.
Wow.
And that's it
Python.
here. So, yep,
Wow. Okay. So again, another dozen words. People have no idea what you just said you do. I understand exactly what it is that you were saying because we're both techies. But
yeah,
we'll try to make the conversation consumable for the
yeah.
masses so people understand what it is that we're talking about. Here's the one thing with teaching too, because I think I want to teach. Well, I know I want to teach because that's kind of who I am.
Do it,
I don't think
do it.
anybody's trying to hire me. I don't know what that's about. I'm just,
Um, sure. Well, I can get you if you want to go to Harris Stowe.
maybe.
I can. I talk to Dr. Pepper, so I send your information over.
Okay, we'll talk about it.
Yeah,
See if we
because
can fit it in.
I can't teach all that stuff. I have my other job, my full time job, and that it was like I had like two full time jobs. So, oh, that looked like the Delta sign. That was wrong. I
Well,
wasn't trying to make a pyramid,
well,
So,
you are wearing the green. I'm just going to throw that out there.
yeah, but yeah, it had become stressful. My time, it was kind of limited. It's still limited now, but it's not as bad because my
Right.
sim class is over. That's an 8 week course,
Wow. Okay, I
and
get it.
yeah,
I totally get it. So we have to see. Maybe it depends because I like to move around a
you can
little
do it.
bit. So
Yeah, you do.
all
You
right.
do.
If
You'll
they
be in
want me
Puerto
to,
Rico.
if they or some Rico, not Puerto Rico, San Rico, San Lucas, somewhere with sand and sun. I think I was designed for the equator, not for being this far north. So anyway,
I
let's
understand.
jump into it. So we've been kind of volleying, you know, text and images and links to stuff related to AI. So walk me back. When were you first introduced to artificial intelligence?
I would say probably I kind of started looking at machine learning in 2000. Mm, it was before, maybe two. It was like before. I can't remember how long ago it was, about 7 years or so.
Oh
But
wow.
I looked at it on. It was on Coursera.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, I want to kind of look into that into it. But then I was like, oh, it didn't pique my interest at that time. And then it was like another course that I was kind of taking at WashU, and the professor, he was quite boring. So yeah, I didn't stick in that one either because they were getting into I forgot the name of it. Starts with a T, but I was thinking it was going to be more R programming, but it wasn't.
All right.
And I just now what I started touching on Chat GPT, was it February?
Yes.
Late January, February maybe?
It doesn't take long, does it? Like
No.
if you get it, then you get it. So
Yeah.
you mentioned another term, trying to help some people out. So you mentioned machine learning.
Hmm.
Uh, so okay, you want to try to describe what machine learning is? Or you want me to do it?
Okay. Well, so machine learning, if you want to go before that, is data analytics. So you tend to get a lot of data that's out there and kind of analyze it. That was like the very first thing, like probably 2010, when a lot of people were talking about those like elastic databases or some of the larger databases.
Right.
But then they moved from data analytics to machine learning. Then that is predictive data analytics, and
Right.
that's kind of moving into the realm of AI.
Right.
And so with AI, it's of course it's predictive, but it does a lot more
Right.
than
It's,
what machine learning
right.
does.
And so with machine learning and predictive analytics, and just hold on, y'all, if you're not getting the terms, I'll make this easy for you. Think about it in this way. So think about the stock market and every trade that has ever been made, right? And so if you could take all that information and put it in one place, in one database, and then you can marry up to that all the market conditions, like what's happening in terms of different markets, what's happening from a geography standpoint, what's happening in terms of the political landscape, what's happening in terms of the weather, right? Because we know that certain weather things can impact the markets. If you can take that data in every trade that's ever been made and match those things up, then you can create a model that says, oh, in this new set of conditions, based on what's happened, we can predict. So you could actually use the
Hmm.
past to make a really good set of trades, right? And so now we have what are called robo advisors, which are basically predictive analytics that are creating portfolios, all that sort of stuff. If this starts to even begin to sound too technical, just put it in the chat and I will break this. I will bring it down even some more for you. But you need to understand part of this is that these are technologies that have been impacting us and affecting us for a long time. The reason that
Hmm.
this emergence and there's such a big surge now is because these are tools that are in the hands of everyday people like me and you, and it is changing
Hmm.
things fast. That's the
Yes,
reason why
it
there's
is.
so much excitement and so much hype. So that's what you were. So when okay, so you kind of went through a similar thing like I did, because it wasn't that long ago,
Yeah.
but it made so much immediate sense to me. I was like, oh, we're doing this now. This is where we are. Okay, I get
Yeah.
it. And you kind of again, and maybe because we're in technology, but
Yeah.
I think the background kind of helps us to understand what's important and what's not. Right
Hmm.
now,
Hmm.
I'm a little older than you, so I remember before the PC was a thing, and people like Bill Gates were saying you were going to have a PC in every home. People were like, why would anybody ever need a PC in their house? Who need a computer at home? That's silly. And back then, you could
Hmm.
spend 10, 15, $20,000 on having a computer in your home. The idea of not having one in your home today is what's more insane than the idea of having one, or saying I'm not going to have right, or I'm not going to have the internet, or I'm not going to be on social. Like again, so many things.
Yeah.
So because I kind of my career kind of rode the whole PC networking internet thing, right? And it's been a great wave, right, to take me from when the mainframe programmers were laughing at us to where it is now, right? They're now the dinosaurs, and
Right.
we're still the new hotness. So and let me say that before we get into the rest of the conversation, for people listening, this is what you need to understand. Whenever something like that's this disruptive, that's the word that we use, a
Mm-hmm.
disruptive technology
Mm-hmm.
comes along, there's going to be opportunities, there's going to be risks, there's going to be threats. But let's look at the opportunity. Since the advent of the PC and the internet, take those two things together, there have been more jobs created, like things we would never would have thought of. All these
Right.
design jobs and web this and graphics and like these, even the database stuff did not exist the way that it does now, right? The need for a complete industry around security, it just didn't exist. So you're talking
Right.
about hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of jobs, great paying jobs that have now been created as a result of these technologies. This is what's going to happen with AI. The question is, which
Mm-hmm.
side of that equation are you going to be on? All right, so let's go on. I don't want to lecture anybody. All right, so tell me about your first impressions. Like, what was the first thing that you did? Like, you typed something in the chat GPT. It was like, oh snap, this is a thing.
Well, I'm gonna go prior to that.
Okay.
So of course, I heard about Chat GPT, and then, I was trying to get on, and they wouldn't allow me on because so many people were on there because Chat GPT users like grew like I think like a million or 100 million users. I can't remember the exact number, but within like 1 or 2 months, the growth is exponential. But so I was sitting there waiting to try to get on, and of course, what I saw, because I follow a lot of cybersecurity people, and I saw that chat people use Chat GPT to write malware. And I'm like, oh
So
my
whoa, whoa,
God,
whoa,
what
whoa,
the heck?
whoa, whoa, whoa. Slow down, slow down. So first of all, let's describe malware. I'm like, I can't believe what you
Okay.
just said, but I know people here won't know what. So let's just say malware is software with a malicious intent. Malware,
Mm-hmm.
software with a malicious intent. Can't make it any easier. So I know we talk about viruses and all. It cracks me up when people on Facebook or something like, my account got hacked. It didn't get hacked.
Yeah.
It just got copied. They just
You're
copied you.
right.
They didn't hack you. Don't accept any
well,
invites. I got hacked. Those are not
well,
hacks. There are real
well,
hacks, but
well.
those aren't.
Yeah, I was about to say my friend Dr. P. He was hacked. Somebody got into his account on Instagram and threw a link that he thought it was somebody he knew, thought it was his mentee, and he clicked that link. They took over his account and they sent him something saying, give me your phone number, blah blah blah, so you can do this, whatever it was. That's how they got in, and
Right.
then they immediately put in two-factor authentication to lock him out. So I have been
All
telling
right.
him, dude, do
Okay.
that two-factor
So
authentication.
right. So now
That's a
people get it.
security moment.
So
Yeah,
so
but
malware is software that has
mm-hmm,
a malicious intent. It intends to do
yep,
something bad or wrong to you, take from you, control your machine, steal your data.
yep,
Malicious, bad. It's bad. Malware is bad. So, okay, so you heard that Chat GPT
yes,
was being used.
was
You got
writing malware.
so I didn't know that.
Yes, and so I was just thinking of all the security risks that are there, and I hadn't had a chance to see it. And then they were talking about it at work. Maybe we could use this and utilize it in our work. And I was like, well, we have to think about the risks, security risks. But then I finally got on it, and I said, what the heck? Use the word. I
And this is
said,
this is an adult podcast. You can say whatever you want. I don't care. I'd be like, what the hell was just happening here?
yes. I mean, I was like, damn, this thing is great. I love it. I mean, because of course, when I'm thinking of AI, I was kind of like some of these other people that are out there now, like Dr. Umar. I wasn't saying what he said, but I was like, we need to retool ourselves because it more than likely will change the dynamic of our jobs. Um, I actually called it a technological revolution
Hmm.
because that's basically what it's doing. Like you said, it's a disruptive technology. So when you have disruptive technologies, we have to reboot, we have to reskill, we have to upskill. And the thing is that I also saw that Chat GPT, well, not really Chat GPT, there are other tools out there. Of course, we have cybersecurity tools that's already using AI. It's probably more machine learning, but the work that I was doing on the vendor assessments, looking at their security, there are AI tools out there doing that.
Sure.
So they're they're able to look at the security controls, look at these reports. I'm not going to talk about them, say the actual name, so we'll have to explain it. Um, these are reports coming from auditors, basically describing a company's security posture,
Hmm.
and then looking at their vulnerability test results, and that tool can look at all of that and create and write a report on that vendor's risk. And so I was like, that's all I did. I'm not saying all, but that's pretty much was my job. And that job, they pay at that employer, I would say probably between 90 to 120 something.
Hmm. So you're talking
So,
about a solid. So you're talking about a solid six-figure
yeah,
job that now
yes,
is being taken over by
yes,
a program,
yep,
right? A program that's
yep.
going to show up to work. It's not
Mm-hmm.
going to complain, right?
And it's going to do
It's
it
never going to
quickly.
ask for a raise. It's not going to chew up benefits. I mean, and this is,
Yeah,
but this is important, right? Because I think when it started, again, the original paradigm was this was going to start with low level jobs, blue collar
yep,
jobs, hourly worker jobs, and then work its way up. And so if you were, a white collar worker, you could just kind of watch the carnage for a while and then figure out, how to, I don't know, sew a golden parachute, I guess. And then at the very
mm-hmm.
top of that, the creatives were supposed to be last, because right, machines, no way machines can do that. And now the paradigm is really pretty much flipped around, because the
Yeah,
reality is, if your job can be taught to someone, then it can be automated. And
mm-hmm.
then with these new tools, again, machine learning, metadata, these things can now probabilities, decisions,
Mm-hmm.
and it can produce something like an audit report with no
Yep,
subjectivity at all.
yes,
Right? Like, you
that
won't
is,
go soft because
yes,
you had a nice lunch with the person you know what I mean, or you met them and you think they're really trying. Like, it's going to be really binary. It's a one or a zero, it's good or it's bad, it's right, it's wrong. You're either secure, you're not secure, right? And so, but
exactly.
ultimately that should improve things, right? Because you've taken out
Yes,
some
it should.
level of human reasoning that can be
Mm-hmm.
disruptive to maintaining a standard. I know I just said a lot.
Yes,
It's so tough talking to a techie because you just fall into our language, right? Which is not, but, and that's so. If you're on and you have a question, ask us the questions. That'll help me keep this in the slot. But as I said the other night when we had Rashid on, Google is your friend. Write these terms down. If you don't understand them, they are impacting your life, whether you know it
yes,
or not, whether you like it or not. Is just the way that it is. Some of this is not just our opinion; it's fact.
yes. Oh, and I saw someone had posted a link where they said GM is now looking to work with with OpenAI to bring Chat GPT into their cars.
I could I could clearly see that.
Yeah,
Um, I'm trying to look back because, so just so we're on the same page. So I think maybe I've been in Chat GPT once, right? Everything
yeah.
else
You started using
I do
Jasper.
right. I'm up on other tools. There's
Yeah.
probably, I think there's 7 or 8 that I'm using on a regular basis, right? And it has reshaped every aspect of everything that I do. And I was trying to go
Uh
back
huh.
to Jasper to see what was the first thing that I typed into Jasper's chat, right? Because Jasper has a chat feature, and I
Yeah.
think I asked it to write like
Oh, the
an
rap.
executive leader. No, not the rap. As an
Oh no.
executive
Okay.
leader, like, you may send out a New Year email to your team.
Oh.
Hey,
Okay.
how about write
Yeah.
me an email about the blah blah blah? And I'm like, huh, that's a darn good email.
You know what I did? I didn't use Jasper for this one, but I have a student who was cheating,
Mm,
and I needed to report it. And I've been so busy. I was like, write out an email a letter basically talking about the students cheating, blah, 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 blah. It did it. And I just went in, made changes, submitted it because it cuts out time. That was within a minute.
See, that's the thing. It's the time.
Hmm.
There's some things that we do that are repetitive, that are
Yes.
mundane, but still
Yep.
necessary. That is what is helping us do. And that's what I
Hmm.
always tell people. The first thing that you get with AI is speed.
Yes.
The
I
first
love
thing
it.
you get is speed. So now, so the cheating incident, was that AI related cheating or some other type of cheating?
No, it was another type of cheating.
Okay, so let's
You know,
get to this. So
yeah.
in the educator space, what what are educators saying about AI in
So,
general?
well, we, of course, if you're in a techie, you're going to like it. But it has been used. I'm not sure which school it is, but one of my fellow professors at Maryville, he said he teaches at another school, and students are starting to use it. And the school had to rewrite their policy for cheating. But I don't, I'm not exactly sure how they're going to police it because when it's written, if you put it in one of those like Grammarly and check to see if there's plagiarism, it's not going to find it.
Right.
So I'm not exactly sure how they're going to be able to do this, and especially with what I just read about Grammarly the other day, because I love Grammarly. I know you talked about it Tuesday, but Grammarly now has an AI where it will write within your tone and style.
Hmm.
So if these students are putting their papers in Grammarly and Grammarly is going through and checking it, it will learn their style. So how are we going to be able to police
Right.
that?
So if you
But
submit it, if you submit some of your prior work to it, again,
yep.
and folks, so if when I say the term metadata, META data, what that means is it's information about the information. Right? So let's say you have a file cabinet at home, one of those big 4 drawer file cabinets, and it's full of all this stuff. But on the top is a small little box with a bunch of index cards that describes the data that's going to be inside the drawers. That's metadata. It's data about the data. And so if
Kind
I
of like
can
a
give,
library.
right, exactly. But if I can give it
Hmm.
information, i.e., my prior writing, right, and my style, and submit that, when it goes to affect the writing that I'm doing, either writing that I supply to it or writing that I ask it to do, it's going to replicate it in my style, basically my signature. So if you read
Hmm.
enough of my writings, like I could tell he wrote that. So I have a very
Right.
open conversational style of writing, the way that I speak. If you saw something that looked extremely scholarly, he ain't write that, right? You're gonna know. And so, so this is the thing. So from an ethics perspective, right?
Yeah.
Like I remember being in school, and there was a bunch of different ways to cheat, right? And
Hmm.
I'm talking
Hmm.
about like people writing stuff on their hands and their arms and putting stuff on their fingernails. And go ahead.
When I was when I was going through, we had the graphic calculators. You could put a lot of stuff in those.
All right, this is what I'm saying, right? So, or what was the other thing we used to do? Oh, if you got like a really really super fine point little pencil, like you could write so much stuff on such a small little. Like there's a lot of different ways to cheat, right? And
Yes.
so there proctors and the whole stuff on the inside of glasses. Some of you all know what you did to try to cheat, right? I'm not making anything up here, right? But and so now in the current age, from an education standpoint, right? Because now this is just my opinion, that only in a few places do we have really open, dynamic, creative learning. A lot of it's the same system we had that was put in place
Hmm.
to support the Industrial Revolution. Teach some people some stuff, they regurgitate it out. It was really designed to make, a good factory worker. In this day and age, is it worth the time to be chasing after people for quote unquote cheating, or do you reward the fact that they provided you a deliverable, or have we've said they've not learned anything, or have they learned exactly what they need to know for the age that they're going to be an adult in? So,
And they probably it's we're not going to be able to police it. I can't see how we're going to police it because I mean they're learning, especially if they're in technology. People in
mm-hmm,
technology like technology, and if they like to work smarter and not harder, which is always something that we've said, even in work. You
Right.
don't want to have you don't want to be out there doing stuff for a long time. So
Exactly.
it's gonna be hard. I don't know. You
There
can't police that. I don't
and I,
understand how we're gonna police.
okay, and I can't tell whose comment this is, but I'll just put it on the screen. It says GPT-0 is an AI tool. It's an AI tool. It's the checkers watching the checkers. This is hilarious. GPT-0 is an AI tool designed to read content to determine if it was written by AI. I don't know
Oh,
anything about GPT-0, but
I need to look that up. So therefore, because I'm quite sure, because some of the students are on it, and they probably are out there doing something now, and because I actually used ChatGPT to come up with assignments for my students because
so
I
that
know what I'm going over.
but slow down there because that I definitely want to get to, right? Because you are an
Yes.
educator who's using the tools that other people want to police in education. So that one we're gonna come back to. I needed you to bring it up first, and now we can talk about it. But anyway, so GPT-0. I'm not gonna look it up now. I'm not trying to turn this into a whole brainstorming session, but this I find very interesting. And so whoever put this out there, are you simply aware of this tool or have you used this tool? Because there are some platforms out there that are specifically there to produce content of various types that say that what they produce is 99.998% plagiarism free. And there's others that will take the writing, you can give it a sentence, a paragraph, an entire paper, and say rephrase. And then
Yes.
run it through plagiarism checker, and
Yep.
it's not going to find anything. So
Now, yeah.
I'm so glad we're here right now, right? Talking about AI and
Yeah.
education and industry. So
Because
and
even
go ahead.
even the U.S. Copyright Office made some changes to their. I was reading this today. They made some changes to their basically like when you're trying to get proof of copyright, and
Hmm.
so they're making changes to ensure like you have to let them know if AI is being used, and it depends on how much you're using AI in order for you to be able to get the copyright. So it still goes in education, but like you said, and also in industry. So
And
and
all I'm gonna say is that. So here's the quandary. Does it matter? Like seriously. Now, okay. Now we're in. So this is education, maybe different. But I was told a story the other night. I was sitting next to a guy that part of his job is to code. He had ChatGPT write the code and it worked.
yeah, yeah, and it will. And that's another thing that I saw, and I was like, ChatGPT is writing code. Um,
I'm sorry. Let me go back.
our
And good code.
Yeah, if we could, and I'm sure it's bug free. Hopefully, that it's secure code. So so therefore, no one can go ahead and do buffer overload or some of the other SQL injections or some of the
Right.
cross-site scripting. So my thing is, when I saw that, I'm seeing all these jobs, and then everything was going through my mind initially, like all these jobs that people can, that AI can, make them be out of work. But what I had to do, because I was a little worried myself, what I had to do was go out there. I actually asked ChatGPT, what could we all do to prepare for the use of AI?
I asked the same
And
question. That's hilarious. I asked the exact same question. I
I
asked
mean,
the
because
same question.
because people really need to do that, so they won't be out there like Dr. Umar did the other day. Was saying, well, it might not have been the other day, but someone asked him about AI, and he was basically saying Black people need to stop sending their kids to college and make them send them to a trade school. And I'm like, no, that is not the case. I'm from Detroit. The auto industry is there, and robots have been used for over a decade, if not longer.
Longer.
So they have been, I'm sure it was longer, um, and they've been downsizing people ever since. And so they get cheap labor. One, the machine can do most of the work that most of the people are doing because Mondays and Fridays they are not in the mindset of work.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Wednesdays has always been known, get your car on a Wednesday, so it will have the least amount of defects. Now, if a machine is doing it, they don't have to worry about that. But
So you get quality, you get
yep,
consistency, right?
yep,
There's going to be a better
yep.
customer experience. So okay, so we got to get to Dr. Umar's comment. Like I said, I don't want no smoke with him, but if you say something that's silly, you're going to hear from the tech side.
I don't
I've been
care.
a, I've been a technology executive for a long time. You've been a
Mm-hmm.
very able professional. You can at least hear my opinion. Somebody don't like it, whatever.
Yes.
But I got to get to this though. So this is, and I only know a couple grants, but this is a grant that works with grant writers. All the comments are hilarious tonight. This is I work with grant writers
I can't see
who
him.
use this to go. So this is the GPT-0 to make sure
Okay.
the grant proposals don't contain AI language. And I'm like, why does anybody care? This is what I need to understand. Why does any no seriously? Because when we go down this sort of moral and ethical path with technology, you have to tell me, why do we care? Oh yeah, I saw that you had that book, Responsible Artificial Intelligence. That book will be outdated in less than a year, by the way. I haven't even read it yet,
Right.
but I know it will be. I don't even have to read it, and I
That's
know,
why I'm
and
gonna
that
read
was
it
probably
now.
and it was probably written by AI. Anyway, no. Hey, listen, and let me just say this before I don't want to diverge, but I could do this, but I won't do this out in the open. It would have to be a Zoom, and you're gonna have to pay at least five. I'm like somebody's gonna because what I will show you is how you could write an entire book from start to finish. I'm writing my books, but how you could write an entire book start to finish. Oh, I'd give it maybe 2 hours, three tops, 3.5 if you want illustrations.
Okay,
And
I
and
want it.
and AI is going to do that too. I started doing it just for kicks. There's
Yeah.
there's
I,
there's an
I,
there's an art to it. So the whole point is, if my objective is to get information out, and I have a way to
mm-hmm.
get it out, right? So
Mm-hmm.
mission one accomplished, and it is beneficial to the reader. What's all the fuss about? It can write code. It can help defend our systems. It can help defend my home.
Mm-hmm.
It can cut my grass. It vacuums my floors. Why is there
It can
so
be
much?
rosy.
I think that part of this is fear,
Yes, it
which
is.
because listen,
Yes. And I will definitely say the fact that the number of blacks that are not in technology is causing a lot of fear. And just, in general, I was just looking at some of the stats last week, just the number of women, the amount of women that are in technology,
just so
as
you
far
know,
as black women.
just so you know, you almost made me cuss. You almost made right there. You almost made me cuss. I just need you to know that.
Well, I mean, because it's so I know technology. I want to say it's like maybe 20 some percent of us in the field, and I know with cybersecurity, I know it's only 9% blacks in the field. And then when you break that down further to women, black women, it's like 3%. So it's not many of us. Oh, if you break it down to the number of blacks that are in AI, it's like I think 1%, maybe 1.5%.
Break it down
So
to the number of us that are in leadership, and this is why I said this is where
yeah.
you almost
Oh,
this is where you almost got me to cuss,
mm-hmm.
right? But I gotta
Yeah,
say, my old plan
because
had
where we
rollover.
were.
No. My old plan had rollover cuss words. I don't have that plan no more. So I gotta save my cuss words. I usually use them all in the fall. Some right around tax
Yeah.
time. But here is the thing. And I said this forever. And if you all hear me out. There's no good cooking that happens in a microwave. And what I mean by that is some stuff takes the time that it takes. And so
Mm-hmm.
when we should have been preparing 10, 15, 20 years ago to get planted, because now we would be bringing in that
Yeah.
next generation where we would have some penetration in the places that matter. We don't. And the thing that really gets me is when you talk about our numbers are being so low, not only are the numbers low, in a lot of cases, it's my podcast. We're bottom feeders in those environments.
Yeah.
We're doing low
Yeah.
level customer service jobs and stuff, and nobody's making it to the top. No one's able to break the next barrier, which I can do a whole podcast series on why you can't. And it's not all about, racism and all that. Some of it's you just ill prepared. You think you know what it's supposed to be, and it's not. I've been there long enough that I could tell you what it is, but people aren't going to come to me and ask. And then when people have the opportunity to take that next step up, no, I don't want that. I don't want it. I don't want to be involved in the politics. I don't want to. You're cuss words. Just hear them right there. Cuss word, right there. Because we need to be operating from a position of knowledge, strength,
Yes.
and influence, and even capital influence, and we don't have it because people have chosen to do something else. Tell me what else could be more important. I would say this. I'm not going to get into it because I don't know what everybody does. Some of these tools I'm talking about, everybody in my house has a license for it. I made sure of it. And the amazing thing is, 5 of us, we all use it so differently.
Yeah.
That's what's so amazing about it.
When you told me about Jasper, I went home that weekend. It was actually probably that Friday, and I was going through and just adding different stuff. And I actually, my friend, the one that you were on that Clubhouse stage with me on, so I did something. I did like advertisement for his practice, and then another one for his nonprofit organization. I was just, putting stuff in just to see how it was, and then shout out marketing for social media, and even hashtags that he could use, and I sent it to him. I don't know if he's going to use it because you can cut out the marketing costs by
It's an
using
entire
this
campaign, and people who are in marketing are talking about this as a threat. So what are they doing? They're learning how to incorporate it themselves and further energize what they're able to do. There's very few, because I sit and think about these things, there's very few areas that I've thought about that this is not, in fact, jet fuel for whatever it is that you're doing. And and this is the thing, while people are resisting, people are pushing back, that just means the door of opportunity is that much wider open for people who are going to take the initiative and understand what's in front of them, because this is going to give you the head start. And in this game, weeks, months, a year is going to be like a decade. So if you're even thinking about this, you need to jump on board yesterday and understand what it is. Plain and simple. If not, I promise you, you will wish that you had. It's just that simple. All right, so let's get back to it.
ChatGPT 4 came out, I think, yesterday.
I know, and I saw you sent that.
And
I saw the
video.
article.
I mean, not video. They allow images. Video, not just yet, but.
See, they plan.
Yeah, you can input a picture, and you can start doing different stuff. I haven't checked on it just yet, but it's supposedly even better. Although they did say they put some guardrails in.
I'm sure, right? Because you have the deep fakes and all that, but that stuff is out there now.
Definitely.
You can have videos today that look like you, that are not you, that you can feed the text to, and it's just going to speak in your voice, because you can have an AI version of your voice. There's a platform called Descript that does that. Matter of fact, let me tell you what Descript will do. Right, while we on this, I'm not flexing for any particular platform. And so the platform that we're using tonight is called Ecamm Live. I've used it for a while, but I've used another platform more often going online. That's done. We're on Ecamm now. That's how we're doing it till they prove they don't deserve me. And so we did the episode the other night, and when it ends, you get a dialogue box. What do you want to do with the video file that came from it? It now has instant integration into Descript. Now, just want people to understand what that means. So let's say I came on here and we're talking, and I get caught up in my words and I start going something. Because because it reproduces the audio and the text, right? It's going to transcribe it. So I can just go to the things that I said wrong, either take them out or replace a word, add a word, hit a button, the editing's done. If you're a content creator, that just saved you hours and hours and hours of time. Now,
Yes.
for somebody, they call that cheating. And I listen, I don't
Cheating.
even know. So I'm pretty clear about where my moral and ethical compass is on most things. But I try to
Hmm.
bring it down to a level of sensibility and reasonable and being reasonable. And I'm like, tell me what the job was. Tell me what it was. Was it to produce ABC? Did you produce ABC? We're moving on.
Right.
Now, in education, I can't touch that.
They're
So
on
I'm not
issue.
an educator.
Yeah.
But we
Yeah.
have an educator who's using these tools to create her own work. So, what are you eating, by the way?
Um, I'm sorry. This, uh,
Okay.
it was,
Okay.
yeah, it was coconut. It
Okay.
was like chocolate and coconut.
All right.
But yeah, I used
How are
it.
you using it as an educator?
So, being the fact that I happen to have a systems analysis and design class, I want to give the students, I want to ensure that are, they don't just do stuff that's in a book. So I can say the book assignments, to me, they aren't really, it won't give them uh, enough of a background for them to like create data flow diagrams or object oriented diagrams. So I wanted to basically give them these tools that they will need out in the real world. But 'cause when I was in college, that's what my professor did. And so I was just like trying to get some ideas like, okay, I want them to do like make a makeshift library where it's database, whatever, starting from scratch, where they're gathering requirements and then diagramming it out. And
Mm-hmm.
then initially, this course doesn't go to create an actual database, but it should. And that's the way I wanted to move forward to. So I'm just kind of building upon what I initially created and then just adding to it.
Right.
So just giving them something to do.
So here we are, getting the job done.
Hmm.
At a
Yes.
minimum, faster, and I'm
Hmm.
only going to
Yes.
assume at a requisite or higher level of quality. And
Yep.
so I would love to have someone, not the whole, I don't need the fire and brimstone nonsense. But if someone could bring me an intelligent argument against this, I'm so curious. But the other thing is, you need to understand that if you come on this platform to make that argument while you're facing me down, there's a tsunami at your back. Because no matter what you say, you're not going to stop it. But I'd be interested to understand what your point of view is. Am I concerned about people losing their jobs? Yes and
Hmm.
no. Right? Like I didn't. This we had somebody that said we need to bring back coal. I don't want to breathe black air.
No, no,
You
I
see
don't
what I'm
either.
saying? Like their progression is necessary. How many people do
Yep.
you know right now today, Renita? You come from Detroit, right? So aside from the auto industry, we won't talk about my time in Detroit. But aside from the auto industry, one of the other things it is known for is music,
Yes.
right? So
Yep. Sure is.
and I
Motown
grew
started
up
there.
in the age of, the 8-track player and cassette players. Guess what, people? There used to
We
be
don't have that
people
anymore.
whose jobs were to go to plants, factories, shops that made, sold, and repaired these things. Who do you know
Hmm.
right now that's in the 8-track industry?
Nobody.
I'll wait. I'll wait. Nobody, because technology evolves and moves on. So the fact that we don't
Hmm.
like it and we hold up a picket sign or whatever in protest, that's not going to stop this evolution. You
No, it's not.
cannot do it. And the crack up is people will be fighting against something that's actually helping them. They just don't know enough to
Yeah.
know that it's already helping them. Right? If you get a
Hmm.
notification, a legit one, right? Not a phishing email, PHIS what? PHISHING, a phishing email,
Yep.
which means a fake email, and I'm talking about like a real email from Norton LifeLock or from your bank that says that we detected suspicious activity with your own. Guess what that is? That's a form of AI, right? If the
Yep.
definition of AI is anytime a machine does something a human would otherwise do, that's considered AI. That's AI.
Facebook. You ever go to Facebook jail? They're using AI. I would know.
So that's not a person making some arbitrary decision about some
It's
activity. They
right.
just looked at the content. They looked at a rule
Yep.
set. You broke the rule.
Yep.
Off to jail. Off to jail you go, and then it
Yeah.
knows when
And
to
they,
let you out.
yeah, I know. I'm sure there's probably some form of check that I have against my name when I'm at risk. So
Yeah, I've
I
not
know
done it yet.
all of that is algorithm.
I must be playing it too safe. I've never been in Facebook jail.
Well, my time of that started with the height of the 2000 of the pandemic, and you had a bunch of guys on that MAGTOW, Red Pill, and Kevin Samuel stuff. So that's where
Oh
it
my
started.
God. Oh, okay. That okay. I get it. Anyway, okay. And so we talked a little bit about industry. We talked a little bit about education, but I kind of feel like where we really are is kind of where, and I put this post out, is it the opportunity or the enemy, right? Is it the asset or is it the threat? And I think the answer is clearly yes to all those things. Just depends
it,
on what your
yeah,
perspective is.
what you Yep, it depends on what you're using it for. It depends on what you're using it for. Just like somebody created the malware, or another thing that we hadn't touched on because we're just saying ChatGPT. I know this guy on LinkedIn told me today. He said ChatGPT is an AI, but it's all perspective. But
He said
one
it's not
thing,
AI.
yeah, that's what he's.
I would waste no
Like I
time with that.
said, yeah. So I didn't, but one thing that we need to kind of discuss with AI, as you have up here, risk and ethics of AI. There is a sector um, within AI that, as far as jobs, um, depending like everybody, I will say, go out there based on the type of job you have. You can even put like your bio in there, your resume or whatever, and hey, ask them what type of jobs you could potentially do. Ask ChatGPT what potential jobs you can do in the future in regards to AI. But one thing that's there, it was talking about ethical AI and responsible AI. And what that is the fact, trying to almost kind of governance, where they're trying to police AI to make sure people aren't going to do things that they shouldn't do, like deep fakes. But I mean, that's going to happen.
It
But
can't, but it can't happen. But I'll let you
no,
finish. But
yeah,
it's good.
yeah,
Again, it's another good luck,
yeah.
right?
So basically, trying to have some form of governance, some regulation out there, some type of way. The reason I say there needs to be some, because as of right now, the autonomous vehicles that we have, they're using a form of AI. They're using AI. But the thing
Absolutely.
is, they don't recognize black people.
What are
So
you
you
saying?
get this autonomous car. The autonomous cars do not recognize darker skinned people. So you have the possibility of being hit by one and killed.
I'm not
So
sure about that one.
no,
I mean,
I
I
can
have
give
a,
you the
I mean,
article.
I have
No,
a Tesla
yeah,
that
exactly.
if I started moving in what's called summon mode, right? Just one of the
Mm-hmm.
ways to do it,
Oh no,
and I
yeah, I
stand
saw
in
that.
front of it, it's
Something
going
you're
to
doing.
stop. It's looking at its shape.
Well,
I don't know if
there
it's looking at
are
my color. It didn't ask me for my ID, so I don't know. Maybe
no, well, there are articles out there where they were saying that it can potentially it, we that's a risk out there, and of course the other risk is the fact that we have programmers is less than one, maybe 1%, maybe 1.5% of blacks in the industry. You have people who are programming AI who are the programming bias. So we need more people within that field. Um, so that does not occur as
and
much,
I
and
can go there
especially
with you. I can go there
yeah,
with you. But so
yeah,
when I asked AI, what could we do? Let's see if I can go back and
yeah.
maybe I can find my exact question. I never do this when I'm when I'm on here. I've never done this before, but I did ask it. Um, what could we do? That was for that. That was for that. Sorry, folks. Give me one second. Oh, remember the list I sent you that said list 10 blue collar jobs being impacted by
Oh,
artificial
yep.
intelligence?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Machine operators, assembly line workers, truck drivers, right? That's been out for a
Yep.
while. Cashiers.
Oh, tow truck drivers.
Hmm? I
That's it.
know.
That
Wasn't
tow
that?
truck driver.
I know that was a
Yeah, that
cool
was cool.
video. Call center operators, delivery drivers,
Mm-hmm.
warehouse workers, construction workers, data entry clerks, automobile
Mm-hmm.
mechanics, and I think that's one that people didn't think um, that
Right.
that would be threatened. But I did ask it. I must have done it in a document. But essentially, what could we do? And so
Yeah.
it talked about marrying up your current skills with things that are in
Yes.
demand. But essentially, part of what it was saying is you need to ride the wave. But
Yep.
it also said this, like you mentioned earlier, retooling, reskilling, upskilling. You will have to learn something today that you don't
Yes.
know. Now, let me tell you the bare minimum that you need to learn is how to ask intelligent, very open-ended
Questions.
questions.
Yep.
And that will
That's definitely true.
become the skill, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because you don't need to get out. Everyone doesn't need to get into Tensor Flow. That's what that one class was teaching. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is over my head. But maybe I can ask ChatGPT to break it down to me in a level that I understand it, because Tensor Flow is PhD level type stuff, and I can't
AI.
explain it.
That's a great use for
It's
AI,
AI.
right?
Yeah, it
Because I have
is.
a
Yep.
module that if you gave me your super techie writing, I have a
Mm-hmm.
module that says, talk to me like I'm a 5 year old or a fifth
Yeah.
grade, actually a fifth grader. And it will
Yeah.
rewrite it at a fifth grade level so I can read it.
Yeah. And a way, because when I went out there and asked what can we do, it said basically, of course, get online, go to the AI forums or conferences. There's, of course, Coursera. That's out there. Coursera is basically a place where you can get a lot of training for free, or if you want to pay, if you get some certifications, then or certificates, then there are several like colleges that around the country that provides a certificate in AI machine learning, and it's not a full degree.
No, it's just courses. And,
So
it's, and a lot of these, and
right,
the thing is, even at
yeah,
the Ivy League level, there are a lot of courses that
mm-hmm,
people can take for free. But
yep,
but again, the
and they offer
initiative
more.
and the desire to learn,
Has to be there.
understanding this
It
as
has
a
to be there.
necessity, that knowledge becomes the new currency. Hear what I'm saying?
Yes,
This is the new currency.
yes,
So the ability to learn, the ability to, more importantly, self-educate is super, super
yes,
critical. And I talked
yes.
about this the other
It's
night, probably really harshly, right? Because I'm saying, but it's just facts that are part of people's brains for learning. It's just asleep. Because it's like a
yeah,
muscle. If you don't use it, it atrophies. It's just the way that it goes.
and yeah. So we as a people have to quit. What's the term? Basically, glorifying the past, because doing that, you're not going to be able to sustain yourself in the future. So
Right.
glorifying trades. I'm not saying we don't need people in trades. Everybody understand. Everybody can't go to college, but we need to stop this whole trade versus college thing, because some people could do both, but knowledge is power, especially in this day and age, especially with us dealing with AI.
Right.
How are you going to compete if you're not gonna educate yourself? Um, like you said, tow truck drivers, those jobs will probably be gone, because their cities, I'm sure, are going to start getting that little robot to move people cars. Um,
Right.
Quite a few of those trade positions will be gone. We can't just say we're going to don't put your kids in college because blah blah blah. Their jobs are going to be gone. No, their jobs will not be gone, and trades will not be the way to always go. I mean, because those are the first jobs that are going. I mean,
Right.
look at these stores. I mean, like you have McDonald's or even Amazon. Oh my God, Amazon has a way. This is technology, but you can pay with your hand now. So if you can pay with your hand, why why are we still looking at coal?
Right. Right. Exactly. So I think that so again, the ethical question is out there. The trade thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, in spirit, I understand what he was saying, but I think it's just it's a cop out answer
Yes,
because, like I said,
it is.
I had to my first tour duty in college got cut short. I had to drop out, but I never stopped learning, and
Yeah.
I had reached a very high level in my career through self education, certifications, and polishing myself as a professional. There's no
Mm-hmm.
tuition involved in that, right? But I was
Right.
willing to invest in myself, and that's the thing. We need people to invest in themselves. Turn this into a true super power. There's so much that you could do. I was kind of joking around. A friend of
Yes.
mine, she has one of my best friends has a catering business. So I was messing around with her on the phone the other day, and I wonder if this is still out here too. And I never do this. I swear I never do this. And we'll end this episode. But anyway, and so I know what it was. So we were talking about. I saw a book online about omelets. Right, somebody wrote a book that was just omelets. So I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So it's omelet recipes and omelets, but the book was actually selling well. I'm like, well, how hard could that? And again, some people are not gonna like this. I'm just gonna say it is what it is.
It's
So I'm
weird.
now she's a cook. She has her own catering business. So I said to the chat engine, write a recipe for a sausage, cheddar cheese, onion, and green pepper omelet. Right? And it said, sure, here's a recipe for a delicious sausage, cheddar cheese, onion, and green pepper omelet. Ingredients: 3 large eggs, quarter cup of milk, half a cup of cooked sausage crumbled, 1/4 cup shredded cheese, 1/4 cup diced onion, 1/4 cup diced green pepper, salt and pepper to taste, cooking spray or butter, and then it gives you all the instructions, right? And so
Just
then we,
salt and pepper.
at
You need
the,
to. Mm-mm.
listen, all right, season the taste. You know where I'm going here.
Right. Look, tell it we
But
need to put some more seasoning
if
in
I said it need Laurie's seasoned salt, it would have figured a way to put it. Don't miss my point. But the crazy thing is, we went on in the conversation, and then we started talking about quiche because she makes a great quiche.
there. Uh huh.
So, what's your favorite type of quiche? So I had to create the recipe, and I sent it to her, and she read it. It's like, oh, this would be good.
It's good.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so
I
now,
mean,
but
you
watching
can use
that,
it for
but
everything.
watch it. Let's see who's really paying attention. So then I said, what are the top 20 most popular quiche dishes? Right? So it lists those out. Right? Now, all I have to do then is go and say, give me the recipe for each type
Yeah.
of quiche, right? Which it did. And then then I asked for the most popular varieties, right? So I asked the question a couple different ways because you have to ask very artful questions. And then I said,
Mm-hmm.
what are the best foods to pair with quiche? And then it gave me a list of 10 things that go great with quiche. Any of those that I need a recipe for, I could get. Guess what I just had the basis for? A quiche cookbook. Done.
Mm-hmm.
In 30 minutes. If that. I could do it faster. But you kind of understand that the power that's
Yeah.
in, and it all comes from a question. So it's first being able to ask artful, open-ended questions, being willing to get an answer, and then peel the onion, let it walk you down these different paths, go to those paths, gather the data, and when you bring it all together, you may actually. And this is why I think the
Yep.
creatives are going to do extremely well with this because they will see this as an open palette. It's like all the stuff we saw on Star
Yeah.
Trek with holodecks. It's going to be all of that type of stuff that you're going to be able to imagine and create very easily, and it will have quality. Like again, if I gave you that recipe and you made it, you're going to be like, yeah, but I
I'm
like
not
it
gonna
like
do
that.
it.
You're going to change it anyway. Who doesn't change a recipe?
No, I use fact. I have factor meals delivered to me every Tuesday. So
Okay, but you understand you
yeah, I
understand
know.
what you
Yeah,
understand what
yeah,
I'm
I
saying, right?
understand.
And
Yeah,
so this is where we
yeah.
are. So again, this is I can't believe an hour went by that fast.
I
But
know.
part of what the reason I wanted to do this is for people to begin to see the power of the platform, but also know that there is a tsunami at your back.
Yes.
It's this
You
is not.
get on the
What I
board.
told you the other night. This started in the mid '50s. So this has had a long runway. Your reticence about it, your resistance to it, is not going to stop it. But it's
It's
going to
beautiful.
come for your livelihood. It's going to come for your
Yes.
stability. So the
Yep.
question is, because you have responsibility and others that are dependent upon you, what are you going to do other than bicker, complain, and bitch about it to make sure that you and yours have a future? And what I'm saying is, the
Yes.
power is in your hand. The barrier to entry is solid. Like these, for what these tools do, they are so
Yes.
stupidly affordable. But let me explain to you why
Yes.
they're affordable. But let me just the last, and we're going to go. Let me tell you why they're affordable. And if there's any other questions, we're about to get out of here, so ask them, because then y'all be calling me up and DMing me later. I got work to do tonight. I almost lost my. Then I almost lost. Then I almost lost my thought. But anyway, so let
Yes.
me just say this. There's a reason for you to move and to move now. And the reason that these tools are so crazily affordable today is because we are the beta testers. Now, if you don't know what a beta
Yes.
test is, when a piece of software gets written, there's the alpha to alpha 1, beta 2. So the first versions, they do that stuff, they'll test that stuff internally. But then they'll do what's called a sophisticated beta test. And that's what they actually shrink wrap it or put it out for market and have you pay for it. Microsoft has been doing this for decades, right?
Yep.
They don't ever give you anything that's bug free. That's why we know don't ever mess around with version .0 of anything, or
Anything.
you are
Anything.
just you are a paid beta tester. Once these
Yep.
tools begin to become more perfected, even at this saturation rate, I wonder if the prices will remain this low. But they're using us right now to test, and I'm saying I'm all in. I'm going to build what I need to build, get what I need in place. Y'all can raise the prices because then I'll already have the money. You know what I'm saying? But there's like this is not
Right.
going to stay like this forever. But because
No.
this is like first generation, publicly available type stuff, you have seen nothing compared to what you're going to see. Plain and
That
simple.
is very true.
Right.
Because even ChatGPT was free. Now they're starting to charge. I mean, it's like $20 a month, but
A month.
I'm sure that's gonna go up. That's gonna
But
go
it's
up.
but a month. Okay, so
Yes,
$20 a
a
month
month.
is $240 a year.
And people spend that at Starbucks
That's what I'm
probably every
saying.
day.
But for what it can do, the value exchange for what you're paying, for what you're able to do with it, I don't even know how you would
Yes,
begin to measure it.
that ROI is great.
Right. ROI, by the way, is return on investment. People, Google's your friend. I'm just kidding. I'm just messing. All right. Anyway, so we're gonna go. We're going to Renita. I know you just left teaching, doing your thing, and you ran right in and jumped on here with me. I appreciate it. Took us a while to get
Thank you.
this, but hey, we could do this again.
Yeah, yeah, I
I'm
can
all
do
about
it.
that.
Yeah, I'm sorry it took a while, and I had to get my head back in in the space after
It's
my
all good.
uncle passed. So,
It's all good. I understand it, and sorry for your loss. But yeah,
thank
for
you.
you, those who are on, thank you so much. Appreciate you. When this is over, if you missed, because I see there's more people coming on, still you can still
We
like, you can still share. It'll show up in the Pivot Play podcast group. So if you need to point people to it, I promise you this perspective. You find this anywhere else, I'd be shocked. I'm telling you right now, you're not going to find this perspective anywhere else. And if and
no.
it's always my threshold is 20 to 25 people. If I could get 20 to 25 people on a Zoom on a Saturday for like 2 or 3 hours, I would show you some stuff that would blow your mind, but it would change your life. But I can't get that. People too lazy; they won't do it.
Yeah.
I,
Oh my gosh, yes.
we have four right now. We have just under 450 people that are in the Pivot Play podcast group. But the rules of Facebook will not allow me to send out a message and 400 and some odd people will get it because they need to control
Really?
it. Yeah, you get to like 2 to 3, maybe 4% of your audience. So we need to be able to build mass because I'm a teacher at heart. I would do this all day
Mm-hmm.
long, right? Something nominal to make the time worth it, so people would be committed to it. But it would show you things that would absolutely blow your mind with this stuff. It's just I'm
It's
every day still fascinated. I'm still like a kid at Christmas with this stuff.
me too. I'm. Oh man, I'm telling you. My mother's told me the other day, Renita, I see you're still a nerd, and everybody, the masses aren't interested or understand the stuff that you like. And I'm like, but they need to. I'm trying to get us in a trying to help us out.
All right. Don't worry.
Help me, help
Tell
you.
your mother. I know she's a sweet woman. Tell your mother I said there's a sapiosexual that's looking for Renita Rhodes. All right. Again, Google's your friend, people. Look up the term.
Yes.
Sapiosexual.
Yeah,
But there's a sapiosexual that's out there looking for you. You're gonna be fine.
because
Uh,
I'm actually a sapiosexual myself. So
there you go. See?
I can't deal with dumb people.
Wow. Anyway, on that note, people, Renita, again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
See y'all.